Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about all the reveals that they showed at Transformers Cybertron Con in China. There was a lot of cool stuff for Age of the Primes, as well as a crossover for one that I never expected them to literally do a crossover for. So I've got a lot to talk about, so sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase a merch. Links are in the description below. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys today about is the Transformers Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration 2-pack. And this one surprised me. It surprised me quite a bit because I never expected them to actually do a crossover for this figure. It is based upon the Sonic and Sega All-Stars racing game from 2010. And the 2-pack in particular has both of them transform into the vehicles I believe that they used in the game. And it's Blue Booster and Wingtail. So it's actually going to have the car and the biplane. And I think they look pretty cool. They have a promotional video, but for some reason I'm not able to get it playing. So let me actually take a look at what the toys look like. First, taking a look at Sonic here in robot mode, and he comes with a ring shield as well as I believe it's the star power-up that gives you invincibility temporarily. And the robot mode looks kind of cool. I know some folks were complaining about the feet not being red, but it's kind of difficult when you have a car mode that works that way, so they made the tires on the car red. And there they are, separate accessories. He does have white gloves, as he's supposed to, as well as gold arms, which is something that the movie Sonic does not have. The tires on the car are red, so it gives you that impression of, you know, as he was in the game. So the vehicle mode does look kind of neat. Tails in particular, I think, looks better than Sonic. You know, him having the red shoes like he's supposed to, the wingtails quite literally being wingtails, you know, is kind of cool. And then they've got the booster there for his weapon. And again, like I said, his robot mode actually looks a lot better than Sonic. And his plane mode is cool too, because it actually is something that Sonic and Tails, Tails actually flies that plane, you know, in the game, so it is kind of cool as well. And then they are in packaging. It's going to be a 2025 crossover, and you're going to have it as a 2-pack. Pretty cool. Now, the big thing that they showed off was the presentation for Transformers Age of the Primes, and this is going to be the trilogy, apparently, for 2025, 2026, and 2027. They're going to go through all 13 of the original Primes. I don't know actually if it's going to be for 3 years or they're going to do it for 2 years. I don't know how long they're going to do it. But the toy line itself is going to last, you know, for a bit. And they're going to go over all 13 of the original Primes. Mark was presenting at Cybertron Con, and they were showing off all 13, you know, symbols. If you're already familiar with what the symbols are, from the Align continuity and moving forward, that was where they decided what the symbols were going to be and what the lore was. They were trying to amalgamate all the lore from the different Transformers series and try to make that work in the Align continuity. The only one that I don't care for in particular is the 13th Prime. And I'll get into that when I actually talk about the toy, because the lore really should kind of be separate, but we'll get to that, you know, in a bit. But they had the pantheon here of the 13 Primes, and they look kind of cool, you know, standing all together in gold and standing over what is the Allspark. And, you know, to my understanding, the lore is obviously going to be shifting. I don't know what storyline they're going to use. There's going to be an animated series. Is there going to be some form of fiction that's going to work to sell all of these things, or are they just going to, you know, go by what already exists there? We'll see. And they showed off some of the box art from some of the characters that we've seen some of the toys now already, and some stuff we might see down the pipeline. So Skybite, that's going to be great. You know, I love the character of Skybite. If you've never seen Car Robots or Robots in Disguise, I think he was known as Gel Shark in Car Robots, and Skybite was his American name. Great character. Just really fun character. Probably one I'm going to have to do a retrospective on in the future. And then you have Onyx Prime here. So he's one of the actual 13. He's a centaur. And I'm wondering what his alt mode is going to be. He is supposed to be like the Transformers that have Beast alternate modes are supposedly supposed to come from Onyx Prime. But I'm willing to bet that Alpha Trion is probably going to be the wolf version of that character, especially based if they're doing the same stuff as Transformers 1. And, you know, but I really like that War Dawn 2-pack, the Hero is Born 2-pack. Then you've got Fugitive Waspinator. You know, I mean, that's what they're calling him, but it's Wasp. And I know some fans have been really waiting for this toy for a long, long time. You've got Rescue Bots Heatwave coming from Bulkhead. And I think that is a really good use of that mold. I know not everybody is on board with the use of that. And of course, you have a refresh for Crasher. But I think he's going to look great. You know, I already have the Chase figure. I mean, be able to get all 4 Rescue Bots and actually have them be posable on, like, you know, the Rescue Bots toys. Yeah, I'm all for it. I figured that Bulkhead would be a good use of the mold to make, you know, Heatwave. That's definitely going to work. And I think when we actually see what the toy looks like, I think more people are going to be on board, because people are complaining that the fists of the robot are still there on his chest when he does have regular fists. But that doesn't bother me too much, as long as both modes look good when the toy, you know, is fully presented. Of course, you've got Armada Red Alert. We knew that figure is coming. And the big reveal, of course, was Star Optimus Prime, or Star Convoy, as he was known in Japan, with the Zodiac in his hand. And there is a deep cut lore with how Optimus Prime was revived in the Japanese manga, and using the power of the Zodiac energy to revive him, and he became Star Convoy, or Star Optimus Prime. And then you've got some of the original 13 here. You probably recognize some of the faces, but you've got Prima Prime over here. You've got Alchemist Prime, who is McAdam, or MacAdam, however you want to pronounce it, with the actual mustache that he had back in the original UK comics. I think that's kind of neat that they're going deep with that lore and actually making it to be the bartender as he was. So I think it's kind of cool. They're trying to, like, amalgamate even more of the lore from different places where they can. And I think that Vector Prime is going to be a package refresh, maybe in different colors, maybe in a darker brown. You know, we'll see what colors they choose for the 13 version of Vector Prime. And we also get to see a little bit more of the box art as well. So we even get to see that they're doing the aerial bots. I think we knew that they were doing the aerial bots already, but now we're finally getting to see what some of the characters are looking like. They're doing the classic team, the original 5, to basically go against your Legacy Menasor. I can't wait to do that. Like, I can't wait to actually have both of those combiners fighting each other. I can't wait for that. Like, but I'm very, very happy myself, because I didn't get the Combiner Wars version. And it was very expensive to even try to see if I could hunt down the Unite Warriors one. And I have some of the Combiner Wars molds. The Combiner posts they kind of get in the way a little bit, and they kind of inhibit the transformation. So if we get a good stable Combiner out of this, we'll see what they do. And then you've got Silverbolt here. It looks great. Same thing with Air Raid. This is Prima Prime. I'll get into a little bit more of his backstory when we actually look at the toy. Same thing with Solus Prime. Armada Red Alert we know is coming. There's the box art for Star Optimus Prime, and it has pretty much just the same art with him with the hand and all that. I really wish we had gotten a Power Master Optimus Prime. I really, really wish that we would be able to get that. Maybe they'll do a God Jinrai or Power Master Optimus Prime with Apex armor in the future, but we'll see what they do. Fugitive Waspinator. They're doing G2 Grimlock. I talked about this in my last video, but now we know that not only are they doing G2 Grimlock in the full-on blue, but he's going to have the wheelie from the earlier promotional colors that they were trying to choose which colors to make him, and this was the colors that they used for the promotional art and on the Big Looker storybook for Wheelie, but it's not a transforming figure. This is Solus Prime in her vehicle mode. We have Slingshot in jet mode, And now let's actually look at the toys. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the combiners themselves. We have Silverbolt here in his robot mode, very much stepping right out of the cartoon. And I'm cool with that. The only thing that I don't care for when I'm looking at this robot mode is that he's kind of plain, you know? The original G1 toy had a lot of detail from the labels that he came with. And this is where folks, why a lot of folks go for things like Toy Hacks labels. Because when they release these toys and they have all of this detail like molded into the plastic, and you're like, well, I wish it had some of the color because it's unpainted. Toy Hacks will fill that gap. But if you're okay with it as is, I know that's the thing that I hear a lot of people say. Like, some people like to enhance their toys and some people don't. They're going to be doing the same thing that they did with Motormaster. This is why Silverbolt is a Commander class figure. So just like Motormaster was a Commander class, they're doing Silverbolt as a Commander class. So he's going to have this extra set to him that makes up the combiner parts. They can transform into a little battle station for him to fire on Decepticons with and have a little blast shield while he's at it. I know a good friend of mine says he's probably going to turn into a turntable. That would be kind of neat to use this as a turntable and have Blaster behind, doing DJ mixing and stuff, and have Jazz dancing. And then Silverbolt's regular jet mode, I think, looks pretty cool. Like, just alone, this is Silverbolt in his jet mode without any of the, without the extra parts added to him. Then you can take the rest of the combiner parts and turn that into a super jet and add it all together to form this much larger version of him. So it's almost like how Motormaster, they did the cab, and then they did the trailer turned into the combiner parts for Menasor. And I'm mispronouncing that. So now I'm going to have to do an Aerial Bots retrospective very, very soon. There are some people who have been asking me to do certain character retrospectives. Trust me, I'm working on scripts to cover all of those characters. There's even the Aerial Bots are on my list. Armada, actually Red Alert as a whole is on my list. There's a lot of characters that folks want me to cover. And then when he does the combining, it is very much the same thing. That Silverbolt will attach to the insides of the chest piece behind it, in order to attach the rest of the parts for the combiner. And then the jets will attach for the other 4 Aerial Bots to form Superion. And this gives you a much more stable combiner. That's really what they're going for, is stability. Because the Combiner Wars one looks good, but if you know how the Combiner Wars figures are, they tend to not stand very well, and you kind of wish that they had ankle tilt so that you didn't have to worry about them falling over. This one's not going to have that issue. I really love the Menasor figure, the Menasor figure. I really, really dig it. And, this is going to be just as good. I think what they're doing, too, is I think because of the way that the parts attach, you'll be able to take the Aerial Bots and actually do a Scramble City redo, just like they did in Scramble City. So you'll actually be able to do that. I think that's one of the reasons why they did it this way, was to retool part of Menasor to, Motormaster, so that you would make Silverbolt this way. And it makes sense. So there you can kind of see Slingshot and Air Raid, the way that they're supposed to combine with him. There's this, Silverbolt in his standard jet mode, and without any of the other parts added to him, this is how Menasor or Superion is going to be. And I'm cool with that. I'm fine with it. I know not everybody is. Some people don't like the idea behind the skeleton of Superion, being with, Silverbolt, and wish that they combined a little bit more as actual combiners. But it doesn't bother me that much because we're getting a good, stable, good-looking Superion when it's all said and done. So, again, I'm all right with it. And this is cool, too, because it uses the golden age of Cybertron. Because if you recall, in War Dawn, the Aerial Bots went back in time, and they were responsible for bringing Orion Pax, after he was killed by Megatron, to Alpha Trion to get rebuilt. So this is a cool deep cut of lore right there for, Superion. I'm digging it. I'm loving it. I think it looks great. Here's Air Raid in his robot mode. Very basic, very simple aerial bot, but looks good. Very, very, very good. I think, all of the aerial bots are very plain. That is just something to do with their, with their original toys. So having them all together and be really good and posable, I think, is the most important thing. His jet mode looks fantastic in black. I love it. I think he looks great. I mean, that slingshot looks okay. He suffers a little bit from not having much detail to him, especially when you consider the original toy. But then again, he was very, very slim. The original toy was very, very slender. So this one kind of has that same slenderness to him. But, and he was like a loudmouth braggart jerk kind of thing. That was just kind of the way his character was. I think his jet mode looks good, though. So there is that. The jet mode itself looks fine. It looks like 1-to-1 to G1. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the robot mode I wish was a little bit better. But overall, I'm going to get the whole team. This one, a lot of people have been asking for quite some time. Fugitive Waspinator. And, the original Waspinator, or the original Fugitive Wasp toy was supposed to come out during Transformers Animated. Unfortunately, I think Transformers Animated was canceled. The toy line was canceled. And so him and Animated Thundercracker were canceled before they were released. And people were like, we really wanted those toys. I dig it. I did not pick up Animated Bumblebee for the Legacy toy line. And now seeing it as Wasp, it looks awesome in these colors. Really, really awesome. And I'm surprised that we don't see, you could do a whole bunch of different retools out of this mold and make a lot of fans happy. Do that for the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. Do that for this mold. And you can get a lot of different characters. Get Glyph, get Tap Out, get, whomever, right? Heck, even do a Cliff Jumper out of this. I'm sure some folks would want to see Cliff Jumper done with this mold. So this looks really cool. I really, really dig it. I think that I want it. And I already have the Kingdom Waspinator figure. I'm cool with that, but this is very cool. And so here we have Solus Prime, the first female chronologically Transformer. I know specifically chronologically it would have been Beta in the original cartoon, but Solus Prime apparently predates her. So being that she has the forge in her hand, the big hammer, she transforms into this truck mode, which is kind of neat. And I can imagine a bunch of different female Transformers being tooled from this toy. But at the same time, I think that she actually looks really great, looks great. In fact, I think her robot mode is based on the power of the Primes, Solus Prime specifically. I could be wrong, but then again, that's pretty much what Solus Prime is supposed to look like. And, she is a deluxe class figure, so she stands very, very short next to Megatronus Fallen, because that was what the betrayal. She ended up getting killed by Megatronus, which is why he ended up being called the Fallen. And, but apparently the female Transformers descend from her, or at least I would just say she just happens to be the first female Transformer, and then, there are other females and they can descend from whatever Transformer of the original 13. Then you got G2 Grimlock. And this one, the darker blue, was not the version I had. I actually had the turquoise Grimlock, which was the later release. And, but this was like the standard one throughout 1993, the G2 Grimlock. I also hear they're going to be doing Studio Series 86 Grimlock. They're going to re-release that toy, for everybody to get who missed out on him. But if you don't care about that color scheme and you like the blue, here you're going to be able to get your chance to get Grimlock in blue. And he comes with the storybook wheelie there. Has the G2 Autobot symbol there on his tail. That's very reminiscent of Generation 2. And even has the clear plastic there on his neck. it's almost got a translucent look to it. Maybe it just could because it's like the renders that they're using. So the big storybook, the only thing they need now is the necklace for Wheelie, where he had like a necklace of Sharkticon teeth. That would complete his look, because that's what he looked like in the storybook. And then in Dino mode, you know, looks ferocious as he should. But I don't know. Like, I don't intend to get the G2 Dinobots myself personally, but I know some folks want to get Grimlock in any way, shape, or form, and him with the red eyes does look cool too. I've already talked about Megatronus. He is on my must-get list. He is a leader class figure with the flames and all that, using the Dreamwave appearance for it, has some of the weapons from other continuities, has the Requiem blaster, you know, the sword and the spear there. Awesome. Tank mode looks great. And not much else I can say about that, as I've talked about that in a previous video. Here's a character I know that a lot of fans have been waiting for to complete their trio of first 3 Autobots out of Transformers Armada. I still want Armada Demolisher. That's like my one Armada character that I want. But now with this official reveal, it's like now I've really got to buckle down and finish that script for Red Alert to do a retrospective on. But I think he looks awesome. He has the flip out gun over here, does not have the licensed sounds like the original toy did, but is going to be a Voyager class figure, comes with interchangeable hands, so you can put out a regular hand as well as the different like weapons that he uses, you know, here. So you can see that like with this. And the vehicle mode looks good, utilizes not the Red Cross symbol, because this toy was the second time I think that the Red Cross went after Hasbro to get rid of the International Red Cross and change it with the Star of Life with an Autobot symbol in the middle of it. But I think he looks cool, definitely for Armada fans. I'm sure they're going to be jumping at the bit for that one. Now we can get into more of the lore for the Primes. So we already know that the 13th is going to be Star Optimus Prime, and that the first Prime, Prima Prime, is based on like this guy right here. So this is like a deep cut lore by taking the Centaurian robot, an Ask Vector Prime named this bot Prima. And then they decided to make it to be one of the original 13. So they're using that head sculpt on him, and they're using the robot mode for the Aligned Continuities version of the character. So they're combining a little bit of the lore. And I'm not opposed to that completely, but I don't know. It kind of bugs me because he wasn't one of the original 13, like that robot specifically. But then again, it's a different color scheme. So they could utilize this head sculpt again in the blue and say that like the Quintessons rebuilt him into a Centaurian robot, and then he went ahead and rebelled. And the Matrix itself can detach and be part of his Star Saber sword. So that's like what this blade is supposed to, you know, be. And the Matrix itself does go into his chest. He does have a vehicle mode, which is similar to Solus Prime being like this early Cybertronian truck vehicle. And there the Matrix can also fit in his chest. And I'm okay with it. When I first saw the mold, I was like, I don't know. I don't really care for it. I wish he had a little bit more color, a little bit more detail to him. But I'm starting to warm up a little bit to it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like the head sculpt should have been for another character, you know. But then again, like, who are you going to name that character, right? So, I guess it is what it is. Now we can get into the Titan class figure. Now they're doing this Titan very differently. They're not doing the standard $200 Titan. They're doing a $159.99 or $149.99, I think. Or yeah, it's $160, I believe. So it's a cheaper package for these Titans. They're not going full on like where it's so expensive that it might be out of some people's price range, but it allows you to get a larger figure, you know, out there on retail. And they're doing the 13th Prime is Star Optimus Prime. And I'm curious what the lore they're going to choose for this. So now the original lore for Star Convoy in Japan was that the Optimus Prime dies in the Headmasters anime. And then Hot Rod, or Rodimus Prime, went and founded the Micromasters planet and became leader of the Micromasters planet. Got in touch with Diatlas and all of them, and they in the manga actually got the power of the Zodiac to revive Optimus Prime, and he became Star Convoy, or Convoy became Star Convoy. And that is why the vehicle mode is what it is because Rodimus Prime is basically merged with Optimus, and that is why his vehicle mode has a little bit of that, vehicle on the front of him there. And that is kind of like what they were going for. So that's kind of like the deep cut of lore. They're doing a Micromaster figure of Hot Rod. That's a brand new mold. It is not the core class figure from before. So it is a Micromaster figure of Hot Rod. And I think that looks cool. I think the Hot Rod figure looks great. And then he comes with this little trailer called, I think it's like MT-13 or something like that, that Hot Rod could ride inside. That also becomes a weapons platform for him to use. So it's kind of reminiscent of, I think the original toy actually did it that way. Star Convoy himself, or I keep calling him Star Convoy. It's kind of easier to call him that. Becomes a playset base we have not had in a while. With a lot of the Titan class figures, we've not had a lot of playsets. Comes with all these blast effects, which we've not had either. And there's the vehicle mode. Again, very reminiscent. Has like that Optimus Prime like truck with a Rodimus Prime front, and then it's like the Optimus style trailer, but with like it almost feels like Armada, like what Armada got the idea from with the trailer, with the treads on the back. So kind of interesting. And then Hot Rod becomes a mech of Star Optimus Prime, so it's like a combination of both characters is what he is. So I'm curious what the lore that they're going to use for the toy line, because I don't know if there's an accompanying cartoon for this, but this is going to be the Titan class figure for him. And altogether, I think he looks awesome. He looks awesome. Comes with all of these accessories, the blast effects, Hot Rod comes with this little trailer. There's Star Optimus Prime as a whole. It looks really cool. And this is actually the Zodiac, star, which is why they use this symbol for the original 13. It's kind of where they got the symbol from, is the Zodiac. So overall, he looks cool. Looks really, really cool. Like, there's a couple of these toys that I'm looking at and I'm going, man, they look so cool. And I don't know which ones I really, really want to get, but it's a matter of what are you interested in? If you're more attached to the aligned continuity lore, you probably want to get the 13. If you really think this Optimus Prime looks awesome, you definitely want to get that. G2 colors, Grimlock looks awesome. And I think the Sonic 2-pack is pretty cool. But I wonder what you guys think about all of this stuff right here. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.